Why switching is important? Think of internet as a big city. Every smartphone, computer, gadget is like a building in the city. The message, videos, and the emails were sent like cars moving through the streets. Now, without traffic lights and signs, the city would be in a mess. Car would crash, nothing would get where it needs to go. Switches like that traffic system that makes sure that our data can reach the destination safely and quickly. Now, understanding switching is important because it helps us know how the information moves within our networks locally. How does switching work? Imagine a layer 2 switches are local traffic officers who know everyone in the neighborhood with a MAC address table. They use MAC addresses like house numbers to direct the data within the same local area network or LAN. Now, layer 3 switches are like delivery drivers with GPS. They use IP addresses, let's say street names, to send data between different networks or areas and find the best route across the town. But how are switches different from routers? See, switches connect devices within the same network, making data move fast. Routers are connecting different networks together, handling data that needs to travel to the other cities or networks, often over the internet. Then there are layer 3 switches, which combine the speed of switches with the routing ability of a router, like a fast train that can change tracks to reach different places, but very quickly. Now, there are many switches out there, so which one should I choose? Picking the right switch is like choosing the best vehicle for your trip. You need the right features for a smooth ride. Here is how to choose a switch that fits your needs. Look at your network size. Small network for a home or a small office with few devices, a simple unmanaged layer 2 switch would work just fine. It's easy to use, just plug it in. Example, a freelance designer sets up a home office with a computer, a printer, and a storage device like a NAS. 8-port unmanaged switch would just be fine, like D-Link in this case. A growing business is very different. Now you're looking at a managed layer 2 switch that gives you more control. You can create VLANs, virtual local area networks, to organize traffic. Example, a startup with different teams like development, sales, support, they use VLANs to keep each team's data separate and secure. Now, need for communication between VLANs, that's the second use case. If a network needs different VLANs to talk to each other, a layer 3 switch is important. Example, a university campus with different departments, science, art, and engineering, that needs to share resources using a layer 3 switch to manage the traffic efficiently. 3, advanced features. Quality of service. This helps prioritize important applications like phone calls over the internet or video meetings. Multicast routing, this handles streaming services and live broadcast well. Example, a media company that streams live events needs a switch that can handle all of this smoothly. So looking for advanced features. 4th is your budget considerations, cost versus performance. Now, layer 3 switches cost more, but offer more advanced features. A tip here would be, invest in a switch that can grow with your network. It's cheaper in the long run than buying a new one every time as your network expands. 5th is your power over Ethernet or PoE. If you have devices like security cameras or Wi-Fi access points, PoE switches can provide power and data through the same cable. Example, a store that installs security cameras and Wi-Fi access points, a PoE switch sets up easier, removing the need for running the separate power cores. Let's address another big question: when to use a switch or a router? Let's look at an example to understand to use a switch or a router. A router is a device that has less ports but can support much bigger routing tables and supports all routing protocols, whereas a layer 3 switch is a device with many ports but little limited capabilities. So let's look at example 1, an office building. A layer 2 switch would connect all the computers and devices on each floor. A layer 3 switch manages traffic between different floors, departments like HR, finance, engineering. A router can connect the office network to internet and the other office locations. So why should I use a layer 3 switch? See, because it can handle internal routings, well, example, EIGRP or OSPF, making the network faster and reducing the loads on the router. Let's look at another example, example 2 here. Internet service provider or ISP. See, layer 2 switches used in local area networks to connect different customers. Routers can manage data traffic between separate regions and connect to other ISPs around the world. Example, millions of routes using BGP or border gateway protocol. So why not a layer 3 switch? See, in this case, routers are better because they can handle complex routing tasks over large areas. And since I don't need too many connections, so my port requirement is low. Side note, routers can also add modules that can have multiple ports. Let's look at another example, a data center, example 3. Top of rack or TOR switches. See, first, a layer 2 switch connects to servers within a rack aggregation switches. A layer 3 switch will gather traffic from the multiple racks and routes between the VLANs. Core routers handle data coming in out of the data center connecting to the external networks. So why a layer 3 switches in this case? It provides a faster routing with low delay, which is important in a data center where speed matters a lot. So tips for choosing some of the right switches. See, here are some of the expert tips that can help you pick the right switch for you. Always plan for growth. That's number 1. Think ahead. Choose the switch that has more ports than you need. Look for switches that let you add more modules as you grow your network. 2 is ensure reliability. Avoid failures. Pick the switch that supports features like stacking for data and power and combine different links. Now, dual power supplies, dual fans. Example, in a hospital network, having a backup switch keeps important systems running even if one switch fails. Focus on security. Protect your network. Choose a switch that offers port security and access controls. Now, why is it important? This helps prevent unauthorized access and cyber threats. 4th is going to be your ease of management. So simplify administration. Managed switches provide user-friendly interfaces for the configuration. Use switches that work with a network that is with a management software for a central control or a single pane of glass. So when you have hundreds of switches in my network, I can manage them easy by just logging onto one dashboard. 5 could be save energy, reduce cost. Energy efficient switches use low power. Example would be green switches, adjust power based on the cable length and ports. Switching is like that system that keeps our digital traffic moving smoothly by understanding the difference between layer 2 and layer 3 switches and knowing where to use a switch versus a router. You're on your way to create an efficient network. Layer 2 switches, best for connecting devices that are within your network or the local streets. Layer 3 switches manage routing between different networks like highways between districts. Routers connect different networks over the wide area, including your internet, like your expressways between or the highways between your cities. Where you're a network professional or just interested in knowing how these things work. This knowledge helps you make better decisions to improve your performance, security, and user experience. Now, thanks for joining me on this journey through the world of network switching. Remember, in your connected world, understanding how data moves is valuable for everyone. So keep learning, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep that data flowing. Don't forget to like or share or subscribe for more insight, the technology that powers our life. See you next time. Bye for now.